I've been using Google as my main smart home platform of choice for 3 to 4 years now. I think I have been using Google before I even started this channel. And about 2 years ago, maybe, I started working on Amazon's smart home platform, and just recently, as of making this video, I posted a video about my thoughts with the HomePod Mini. Today, we are going to talk about how I moved from Google and Amazon to Apple HomeKit. Let's see what that journey looks like, especially if you are already invested with so much with Google and Amazon. Hi, this is Art again for Few Texts Later, and today we will be talking about how my experience looks like moving all our compatible devices to Apple Home. Like what I said in my intro, I've been using Amazon and Google for years now. Though I'm not saying that HomeKit is something that is completely new to me, since it isn't. I've been using the Apple Home app for quite some time now just to see how the app works, how to add some HomeKit compatible devices that I reviewed in the past. But having all those devices completely moved to HomeKit is quite a task. For the longest, I used Google for voice control and Amazon for automations. Not until I was able to add a HomePod Mini in our home. If you haven't watched my unboxing and my first impression video about the HomePod Mini as a non-Apple user, you can check the video right here. And all the products mentioned in this video are linked in the description below. And stick around to the end of the video to find out if I will be completely focusing on Apple Home and maybe ditch Google and Amazon. After reviewing a ton of brands in this channel, first thing I did was to inventory all the devices that we have currently and see what works with Apple Home and which ones are not. Again, this is not an easy task. Going through all the apps and rooms to see if these devices will work. I have about 70% of all devices we got are Apple HomeKit compatible, which is good. Then after that, I came up with a list. Now moving on to number 2 is finding the HomeKit codes for each of those devices. This is the first issue I run into actually. Adding HomeKit devices without the codes can be tricky, though you can still add them. But adding 20 or maybe 30 devices without a HomeKit code will definitely take a while. This is really annoying for me, at least, since I tried adding these devices to Apple HomeKit for quite some time now. Then re-adding it will require the HomeKit code again. Good thing, some devices still has these little stickers for the HomeKit codes that are still intact. And luckily, I kept most of the boxes. Now to make this transition as seamless as it gets, I start adding devices per room, which is my third step. And this is where the second issue I run into. All these devices that are compatible with HomeKit are now being used with both Amazon and Google. Let's take this motion sensor from ZemiSmart, lamp and light strip from Yeelight. That means I need to factory reset these devices just for me to be able to add them to Apple Home. For devices that uses hub like this light switch and sensors, I need to reset the hub itself. Take note, I need to do this to all devices one at a time. So after adding all the devices, that took me almost half a day. Next thing I need to do is to re-add those same devices to their parent app to make it work with Google and Amazon again. This is where my third issue comes in. After resetting those devices, I was able to add them to Apple Home, but it got deleted from its manufacturer's app. If you don't use all 3 smart home platforms, this is something that you can disregard, but for me, it is really annoying. If you are someone who's like me, trying to use all 3 platforms at once, just a pro tip, after resetting the devices, don't add it yet to its manufacturer's app, or else you cannot add it to Apple Home. It may be different with other devices, but for Yeelight, ZemiSmart, Colo Light, SwitchBot, and Akara, you need to add it first to the Apple Home app, then do the same pairing process to its manufacturer's app. This is where I spend the other half of my day doing all this. Once everything is all added to all three platforms, last step is to make sure that all devices are in their respective rooms, scenes, routines, or automations. In that way, your family member will not notice if something was changed or whatnot. So just a quick recap, if you're using Amazon and Google and you want to either try Apple Home or completely move over, is first, check what devices are compatible to Apple Home. Second, make sure that you still got the HomeKit codes for each devices. Third is to factory reset all those devices, then add them to Apple HomeKit. Last is to make sure that those devices are in their respective rooms, added to their respective scenes, automations, and routines. After all I did, the question now is, should I move to Apple HomeKit to control my smart home? And the answer is, not today. I will continue using all three platforms for my smart home. In a nutshell, with all three, they got pros and cons for me at least, that the other can complement, so for now, I'll be using all of them. I will make a separate video about comparing all platforms and what I think about them. And for you not to miss that, consider subscribing. Hopefully this video helps you in deciding if you want to move your smart home to Apple's HomeKit. And if it did, a like is very much appreciated. Again, I left links in the description below for all the products included in this video. This is Art again from Few Texts Later. Thank you so much for watching and see you in our next video.